Ultimate MK Podquest.
So, dude, Friday after I get off work.
Is this the podcast?
Yeah, this can be the podcast. You got something
Well, I
else
was
to
just
say?
wondering because you dove in real fast.
So Friday after I got off work, I went to get a haircut because it's been a minute, right?
Mm.
So I go get my haircut, and then I'm like, oh shit, I have like no gas. I better go to the gas station and get gas. So I do that. And while I'm at the gas station, I think, man, I haven't had some fucking Skittles in a long time.
Okay.
And it's been a week. It's been a week's plural. You've been there.
It's been
You've been there.
1 week.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I need some chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. I'm going to go into the 7-Eleven and see if they have any.
The timeless lyrics to 1 week by the Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see if the 7-Eleven has any.
Has any chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. Nothing weird about that lyric. And
That thing you can still say in 2021.
Anyway, so I go in and I'm like, I'm gonna get some fucking Skittles, and they have this yellow bag, right? And it's called Bright Side Skittles. And I'm like, man, I could use a little Bright Side right now. It's been a time, you know.
I'm going to get in my truck, listen to the Killers, and eat these Skittles.
100%. I was humming Mr. Brightside.
Everybody is. Everybody listening to this right now already is too.
All the time, and just in like not even about this,
Perpetually.
just in general.
Brandon Flowers hasn't been free for like 25 years.
No, it's
I don't know when that song came out. 15 years?
it feels right.
18 years?
15 years. 15 years probably. We're not looking it up.
No, we're not.
So I'm just like driving home. I'm eating my fucking Skittles. I'm like, okay, things are looking up today. Park, get out of my truck, mouthful of fucking Skittles, chomp down something hard. And I know immediately what happened. And what happened is my fucking crown pulled off my tooth.
No.
Yeah, it got yanked out by the Skittles, and then I bit down on it on the other side of my mouth, and it chipped another tooth when I did that.
That's fucked up. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. There should be some kind of pact.
Now, I'm starting at the end of the story, because if I started
War
at the
is
beginning,
over if you want it.
if I started at the beginning of this story, you would have seen this ending coming, which was this. My crown pulled out because I ate a fucking mouthful of Skittles, right?
You dropped this king.
No,
Okay, thank you.
It was a king-size bag. Now, I've known that I've had this crown for about 3 years.
I'm glad it didn't get put in your mouth without your knowledge.
But the only reason I've known that I've had this crown for 3 years is because 3 years ago I was chewing a piece of gum and this same crown came off. And I sat there looking at this weird looking tooth, because it's basically like a whole tooth, right?
Okay.
This is a king size crown. This is like practically, I mean, it's not an implant, but it's basically an implant. Like, I don't know what the fuck.
Right.
And I'm staring at this like weird looking like robot tooth, because it's all metal inside, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I had zero memory of having a crown put in, dude. Zero. So I, in this panic, like 3 years ago, staring at this tooth that looks all kinds of fucked up, sitting in my hand in a wad of gum, call my mom, and I'm like, Mom, do you remember me ever having a crown put in? She's like, no, I don't think you ever did.
Oh, no.
So then I call my dad, and I'm like, hey, Dad, do you remember if I ever had a crown put in? Call me back, because it was his voicemail. Right?
Yeah? Did he call you back?
In the meantime, I'm like, hey boss, I'm leaving work. I need to go figure out what the fuck is happening with my tooth that just fell out. Go to the like dental emergency clinic, get it cemented back on. The guy's like, look, you got to be real careful with this thing. There's not a whole lot left to glue this thing to. If it comes loose again, you're going to need a post and all that kind of shit, right? And I'm like, okay. So no gum? No gum. I haven't chewed gum in 3 fucking years, dude.
So you haven't once had the sensation of like dentine spearmint in
Not
3
once.
years?
No.
You don't know what it's like to chew 5 gum.
No, I do not know what it's like to chew 5 gum. I've not had that experience in several years. No fucking, I don't know, Starburst.
That's the saddest thing we've ever said on this podcast, is not knowing what it's like to chew 5 gum.
This episode sponsored by 5 Gum.
Brought to you by 5 Gum. Stimulate your senses.
No fucking Starburst, no High Chew, no Laffy Taffy, no fucking anything.
Evidently,
sticky
we've discovered why.
for 3 fucking years, okay?
It's been 3 years.
So my dad finally calls me back, and I'm like...
It took him 3 years to call you back?
No. It's later that day. The day that this first happened. He calls me back, and he's like, yeah, you had a crown put in about, at that time, about 15 years prior.
Oh, so this is like you've had this most of the time.
And I said, when were you going to tell me?
Why was that your response?
Because
like he was keeping some sort of secret mouth crown from you.
Because I have zero fucking memory.
When were you going to tell me? Like, happening. I'm trying to picture your dad, so I'm picturing you, but gray, just for simplicities in my mind.
That's actually...
And he's holding a phone up to his ear.
That's actually 100% accurate.
Okay, so I'm picturing old Neil.
Yeah.
And him getting asked that question and just looking into a mirror, holding that phone silently up to his head and wondering, what have I done with my life? How did I get here to my idiot son, wondering why I was keeping a dentist procedure secret from him?
That's probably a pretty accurate representation of how he felt in that moment. I was like, when were you going to fucking tell me I had a crown, Dad? Like, this isn't cool.
You're coming at him like this was his responsibility.
Well, he's the one who fucking made me go to that dentist. I'm not going to name that dentist here, but people who know me know which dentist this is because I fucking hated him.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. This is a dentist that started as a dentist, and probably by the time I was getting this implant put in, had expanded his business out to cosmetic Botox injections.
Oh. So,
yeah.
In the same facility?
In the same office.
Interesting.
Yep. So yeah, not.
It's funny that you say this, just because I also have. It's a story. Maybe I'll say for a different day because it's long. But as a child, I also have a long story that revolves around an interesting encounter with a dentist.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That dentist is no longer a dentist.
Maybe as a bonus episode. I mean, if you want to go into it now, like I'm game.
It's
no offense to all the dentists out there. I fucking hate dentists.
It's not gonna. It's like it's a childhood related dentistry story, so it's mostly like I hated having to be there, and the dentist in question just wasn't handling my not handling it very well.
Sure, yeah.
And it sort of spirals from there.
Dentists notoriously not people.
One-eyed, one-horned, flying horned. Well, that joke's over. Okay.
People. There, we got there. Anyway.
So is your crown in? Just to be clear.
So right now it's currently just like sitting on a cabinet in my bathroom.
It's not in?
It's not in, dude.
Can you, like Arthur the Aardvark style, shoot juice out of the hole where it was?
No, because it's way on the side. Like I was trying to sip drinks through it last night, and you just can't do it.
Well, you know what you need then, Neil? You've set me up for the greatest segue of all time. You better strap the fuck in.
I am strapped in.
You know what you need to be able to shoot juice out the side of your mouth where your tooth hole is, because the crown came out? Tarkatan blood. Like Molina. So your mouth can open real big. I've never been more excited to make a segue in my life. It came to me instantly.
It's a very good one.
And I was like, here we fucking go.
Hold on, let me crack this this Peach Rings flavored G Fuel with Sonic the Hedgehog on the can.
Of course that's what that drink would be. Why wouldn't that be the drinking question?
There's gotta be something. You can't make it like fucking hedgehog flavored.
It does have to be something.
Yeah.
That's a fact, Jack.
There's rings in the game, and there's Peach Rings as a candy, so they're like, fuck it. Anyway, I'm gonna fucking like live it up for like the next 2 days. I'm checking every day to make sure stuff isn't like instantly shifting and my crown still fits.
If the crown fits.
But I'm just gonna like go fucking ham on another bag of Skittles before I glue this fucker back in.
I will say, I love how you're like, my tooth got all fucked up and it fell out. And so what I'm going to fill that space with in the meantime is Sonic the Hedgehog drink.
Yeah.
The thing that's famously good for teeth, probably.
Zero sugar, I mean.
Historically good for teeth.
Certainly plenty of enamel-eating acids in this thing.
And it's probably got all the vitamins and minerals you need to go as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah, I need it right now, honestly.
You got something that you need to run from, Neil?
Everything in my life currently. Mortal Kombat Legacy, episodes 4, 5, and 6. This is the Kitana and Mileena part 1 and 2, and the Raiden one-shot.
Yes, it sure is.
It sure fucking is.
Sure
Man.
is.
Real quick, before we get into it, like we're gonna get to the Raiden episode, but was I right in my estimation? Did you guess? Is there any way you could have guessed that that's what that Raiden episode was gonna be?
No, of course
No
not.
fucking way.
An impossible question. I would have an easier time, like, okay, let me try to stick the landing on the joke I wanted to make. Walking into that room with all those cups in it, like Indiana Jones, and getting it right on the first try. I would have better luck doing that.
Grabbing the Holy Grail.
Yeah, first try.
Okay.
Any percent Holy Grail speedrun than I would guessing what that fucking Raiden episode was going to be about.
God. All right. Let's save that for the back half. Let's talk Kitana and Mileena. Do you want to go to the Corey corner?
Let's do that. It's a real easy one. Welcome to the Corey corner. So Neil, you're into Mortal Kombat, yeah?
A little bit, yeah. I've been known to dabble.
So do you know the origin story for Kitana and Mileena generally, like from other sources?
Like the classic, classic video game.
The classic, like, at World Invasion,
Mm-hmm.
taking over the royal family, King dies,
Sure.
Shao Kahn takes Sindel as his wife, that's Katana's mom. She's not happy. She kills herself so her soul can merge with Katana for reasons.
Mm-hmm,
That famous detail of the story that's always there.
Yeah, always there.
And
100%.
then Shao Kahn raises Katana and a clone of her with Tarkatan blood that will be more loyal to him, named Molina, as like the ultimate assassin bodyguard warriors. And then Katana discovers some stuff that maybe who she thinks is her dad is not being very upfront about the real history. You've heard that story, right?
Yeah, I've heard that story. I'm familiar.
Okay, that's the plot of this episode.
Okay. Wildly different than what we're used to seeing in the Threshold universe.
Yes, it's the most consistent thing we've gotten to date with the existing lore.
One minor detail, King Jared didn't die right away. He just fucking went out for milk during the invasion. And then Kitana and Molina got sent to hunt him down and kill him.
Yeah, big I'm a head out SpongeBob meme energy. Dude's just like, I'm going to try to hide my wife and daughter. It didn't really work.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
Just going to go live in the woods.
And I guess worth harping on the detail of Sindel's suicide being to merge their souls?
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
I honestly didn't follow that too well.
Nope, me neither.
I have a theory. We'll get into it. I'm not ready to call it a big theory, boys, but I just might need to press that button.
Small theory, lads.
Okay. New button. All right. Let's go over. You want to go over to the Neil Nook?
Yeah, I didn't feel compelled to draw that out too much. People kind of know the deal. If you're listening to this podcast, you likely know the story.
You know the story.
This is the story of a girl, and then also another girl. How was that?
That was good.
Yeah? How do you like all this musical comedy we're doing?
That was good, man. I'm into it. Welcome to the Neil Nook.
It's Gucci.
This episode was once again written by Aaron and Todd Helbing and directed by Kevin. I'm a little mixed up on the pronunciation. We better go to the tape here.
I don't know how this is so fucking complicated. Oh my God. Tancherowen.
There it is.
Okay.
Yes, directed by Kevin Tancherowen, written by Aaron and Todd Helbing. We talked about them last time. Another returning, for just a brief scene, another returning actor is Johnson Fan, back as Shang Tsung.
However briefly.
But we've got Samantha Nguyen playing Katana in this. She is a stunt actor. She did stunts in Army of the Dead. She was in Zack Snyder's Justice League, Wonder Woman. She was Jenna Malone's stunt double in Sucker Punch. She was Kristen Stewart's stunt double in the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Let's go.
And she was in the King of Fighters live action movie.
You must be deeply familiar with King of Fighters on account of your crown.
Yes. Yes, that's
Look,
a joke.
they're not all going to be laugh out loud hilarious. But reliable enough humor.
You know, I don't hit the button enough. Let's hit it.
Was that just
All right.
a standard rim shot?
No, the gunshot was there.
Ah, fuck. Discord, you fucking fucked me again.
We've got Jolene Tran as Melina. She is known for playing Molina in Mortal Kombat Legacy.
You dick.
We've got Alex Panovic as Shao Kahn. He was Sergeant Fisher in Battlestar Galactica. Here's one for you, Corey. He was in Wishmaster 4, The Prophecy Fulfilled.
Spoilers. Now I know that they fulfilled the prophecy in Wishmaster 4.
Here's another one for you. He was also the Cyclops in Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters.
Okay, is that the second one?
That is the second one.
I didn't see that one.
I think it was better than the first one, but come on.
Do they go to a time-stopping casino in that one?
I don't know, dude. I've watched it once, and I was like, that was better.
I watched that 15 years ago when I got that crown. I don't remember shit.
I was still drugged up from this dental procedure I don't fucking remember. Kirby Morrow plays King Jared. He's a voice actor, so again, there's a billion credits. I picked out a few here. He plays Moroku in the English dub of Inuyasha. He's Troa in Mobile Suit Gundam Wing.
Oh, damn. I would love to get excited about that, but I've never seen Gundam Wing.
You gotta watch Gundam Wing, dude. It's really
Everybody
good.
saw it when they were kids, but I wasn't watching Gundam when I was a child, so I
No.
missed it.
Well, maybe you were busy watching NASCAR racers because Kirby Morrow was also Redline
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me?
in NASCAR Racers and NASCAR Racers the movie.
Yo, bonus episode. Let it be known. What do I need to learn about NASCAR Racers the motion picture? I just actually typed into Google NASCAR Races the film, which is not at all what you said to me. NASCAR Races the film. Racers the movie. There we go.
You're like, I just typed in 23 years old again.
I'm 24. Come on, get it right. The movie. NASCAR Racers the movie. The hit 1995 film. The good Team Fastex races against the evil Team Rexcore in this fantastic futuristic animated movie that led to the weekly series. It came first.
Oh, shit.
I can't believe that the movie came first, actually. That's crazy.
That's amazing.
That's the wildest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I think that there was a little bit of a trend because I think that's how Gargoyles started too, is they released like a video, like movie version of the first couple episodes. I think that was pretty common back then.
Yeah, also, this is suggesting that I check out a different cartoon called Atom. Do you know what that stands for?
Tell me what tell me.
ATOM, if that helps.
Sure, yeah.
Alpha Teens on Machines.
Oh, fuck. Yes.
Clancy Brown is in it.
Clancy Brown is in, and I missed it. When we did a fucking, god damn it.
And so is Tom Kenny, apparently.
Well, he's in everything. Another bonus episode.
There's simply
Awesome
there's
Teens
simply
on
two-
Motorcycles or whatever it's called.
Where did all of these cartoons come from? What is galactic football?
I don't know. But
What are
it
you
sounds-
talking about?
That's that game they play in Starship Troopers.
That's the game they play in Final Fantasy X.
Let's go with that. I know the real name, but that's going to ruin the joke.
It's Blitzball.
I know.
Yeah, but now I get to say that I know what it is.
Okay.
This is about me. You don't understand.
Beatrice King as Queen Sindel. She played a waitress in X-Men Origins Wolverine. She's also been on Supernatural, Psych, a bunch of other shows. And here's one for your list too, Corey. The Art of War 2, Betrayal.
The sequel to the hit book.
Sun Tzu's The Art of War 2, Betrayal, starring Beatrice King. And I think Treach? I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's
It's
in those
Tantra
movies.
Rowan. We've been over this.
That was very good.
Thank you.
We've got Fraser Aitchison as Dr. Alan Zane. Sorry, as Baraka.
I hate you.
He did stunts in Godzilla, Deadpool, the Watchmen movie, Blade Trinity, In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale, etc. And we've got Karen Inghammer as the narrator. She's been on The Flash, Once Upon a Time, and she played a character in both FIFA 17 and FIFA 18.
A character?
Yeah, Susan some shit. I don't know.
In FIFA? In the soccer game?
Yeah, maybe she might have been a narrator in that too, you know? Maybe she's like I never fucking played those games.
Maybe they gave that a story mode. I mean, F1 2021 had a fucking story mode. Maybe they gave it a
hell
story
yeah.
mode.
Yeah, so she's in that too. That's pretty cool. Here's a little bit of trivia that I found in the trivia section on IMDb. Jean-Claude Van Damme's daughter, Bianca Brigitte Van Damme, auditioned for the role of Molina, and you can see her training for the audition in the television series Jean-Claude Van Damme Behind Closed Doors from 2011.
They gave Jean-Claude Van Damme a reality show?
They did. So a big part of this episode is animated.
It is, yes.
Yeah, it's animated in like a motion comic style, and I was trying to find if there's a specific studio or something that did this. But I couldn't find the name of one. But the animation department is listed on IMDb. Caleb Bouchard, Vern Giamartino, Aaron Hildebrand, Ian Kirby, Jacob Owens, Deanne Sioui, Mark Stuckert, Eric Wada, and Christian Whitaker. Yeah, Whitaker. We'll go with that. They're the animation team on this, and as a collective like group of people, they're people responsible, and I do mean responsible, for the motion comic boom that happened at the exact same time as this.
There was a motion comic boom?
You could like buy DVDs of comics that were lightly animated like this was and narrated. Like there was like a Watchmen motion comic. There's like Buffy season 8 motion comic you could buy as like a DVD box set. And yeah, so the people who worked on the animation in this also worked on stuff like there's a Jonah Hex motion comic. There was a Batman Black and White series adapting all the black and white stories. There was do you remember that Inception prequel comic that got released? There's a motion comic version of that, and these people did that as well.
I did not know that.
Oh, totally. It's just like such a strange like product of the time. There was this weird motion comic boom for a minute.
You can tell I wasn't paying attention to that because I, in my notes, describe it as a scanner darkly looking ass.
Ooh, ouch.
Well, because like that's the only thing I could think of that even was like sort of similar looking. I know it's not a good comparison.
No,
because that was like rotoscoped. But
that was rotoscoped. Yeah, and I'd prefer a Waking Life comparison. Thank you very much.
I don't know what that is. That sounds like a Terrence Malick movie.
It's the same guy, and it's fucking terrible. There, I said it. Waking Life is garbage.
Damn, shots fired at what? Richard Linklater?
Yes, shots fucking fired.
It took 12 years to make.
That piece of shit. Waking Life
Wow.
is bad.
You have feelings about this.
Did not have enough Mortal Kombat in it, that's for sure. What did you think of this overall, Corey? Kitana and Mileena parts 1 and 2.
I gotta be honest. I wasn't crazy about it.
That's fair.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of this show.
Right.
So far.
Well, we're only 2/3 of the way into the first season, so.
Yeah, but this week might be the most like crystallized example of why. Because this plays it so close to everything that already exists. And then the next thing we're going to talk about skews so far in the opposite direction from the thing that already exists that I can't figure out what the show's goals even are.
That's fair. I've got some thoughts. I think we can have a conversation about this once we get through the Raiden episode.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, it's fine. I think this was a bit overly ambitious in that the live action stuff looks like they were trying to punch above their budget and it didn't totally work. There were some good old fashioned Mortal Kombat Conquest ass looking caves though. Thank you for that.
There were good caves. Some good old fashioned Mortal Kombat Conquest CGI establishing scenes also.
Yes. Oh my god, certainly. They don't look spectacular. One of them just sort of reminded me of like Sin City or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay. It's fine. I don't think this is the right format. Again, I don't know why it's being told in 2 parts. Again, I don't know why it's skewing so close to the existing story if everything else so far hasn't. I'm not crazy about the motion comics. They don't look terrible or anything. I would just like either animate the whole episode or do it live action. I don't care for the mix.
Okay.
That also feels like ambition getting in the way, where it's like we want to show these things, but we can't, so we'll do it this way rather than wanting to do it that way. I don't know if that's true, and I also think it's a very straightforward story, and because it's not elaborating on it
Right.
or on what happens to Katana from here, it's very boring. Like you don't,
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's just her character bio, but like you
Basically,
get to
yeah, and I don't know. I don't care for that. Also, this is the most miscast you could possibly get Shao Kahn wrong.
watch it. Yeah.
It's one of the most
Yeah.
wild choices they possibly could have made.
They should have cast the guy who played Reiko in Conquest as Shao Kahn in this.
100%. Yeah. This guy, and like, it's not his fault, is what I will say.
It's not, no.
He is just not the guy for this. That's not his
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
It's such, I don't get why, like, if you're going to skew everything else so close to existing Mortal Kombat material, why depart there only?
Right, and he never got to say his iconic line either.
Traitors! I will crush you both!
Yeah, that was a really big missed opportunity.
But maybe that'll come up in season 2. We'll see.
It might. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have a lot to say about it. Like, some of the additional details are kind of weird. It doesn't look great because I think it's trying to do too much, but other than that, it's totally okay.
Oh, I've got a little bit of a different perspective than you. I think I liked this, and I liked the ambition of this. I mean, the format is the format for whatever reason. Again, I kind of theorized maybe like there was a mandate at that time. No one was doing like full length shows on YouTube, right? And like the idea was like, no, you need to go for like 3 to 10 minutes, like max should be how long your YouTube show should be, because that's all people have time for. They're just gonna watch this shit while they're in line. Like this is Quibi before Quibi, right? So I think we have to forgive it for the length of the format, because that was dictated, I think, by what a web series was perceived to be in 2011.
Right.
Yeah,
But
and I don't.
if
and that's why
that
I'm
was
trying
true
to,
at the time, wouldn't the creative team had known that and been able to skew this toward? I'm not saying they shouldn't aspire for more, but if
Right.
they knew that's at the bare minimum, just don't make this 2 parts. Why is it
Yeah.
2 parts? Like,
I don't know. I mean, they wanted to tell the whole story.
just
I
make
was
it
in-
one big part.
Okay, but what,
That's
what
the
were they?
thing. It's like, just what are we doing? Like,
But what do you lose from it then? Because if you're trying to compress, what was this whole thing?
having
together?
to
Like,
close the window, open Steam, go get the other one, skip through the previously on, and get back to what I was doing, and that's annoying.
Okay, so this is just a quality of life thing for you. This isn't actually about.
Well, it is, but at the same time, I understand the release format being dictated by how it was at the time, but also just
I'm saying
like
the length of the segments.
the
is
rest of
probably-
it's so short. It's like, why did I wait a week and you gave out like 5.5 more minutes when
Yeah,
the
I guess they
previous one
did
was
that
like
last time, too.
7 minutes? Just give the Raiden one's already 12 minutes. Just make it 12 minutes. Like,
Was it 12 minutes?
yes.
It felt both shorter and longer. We'll get to it. I don't know. I also really liked the ambition that they showed with like mixing the animation, going for this motion comic style, and like the digital backgrounds and all of that kind of stuff. I think it was. I mean, this was new at the time. It was kind of gimmicky, but it was also kind of like, wow, you can actually make something that looks pretty cool with a reasonable budget.
Yeah, I also recognize that it's skewing in the sense that like it was also 2011. Like,
Right. So I think you need to be a little bit forgiving of that. Try to put yourself in that headspace back when you were, what, 9?
wow, disrespectful. In 2011, I was 14.
Okay. Yeah, you just got to get in that headspace, man.
Who knows? I don't know what the fuck I was doing when I was 14.
We obviously weren't watching Mortal Kombat Legacy.
Evidently not.
Yeah. I liked it, though.
Actually, I was
liked-
probably watching like Call of Duty commentary videos.
That sounds like something you would do.
That's probably what I was doing at 14.
There's a few interesting things in this that I liked. First of all, I liked Queen Sindel being named because she wasn't named at all through Conquest. The only time we've heard Queen Sindel up to this point is in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Like, she
Right.
hasn't been named. They've just, I mean, that whole episode of Defenders of the Realm, the last episode, just focused on King Jared. I think Katana would like talk about her mother, but she would never name her. So I like the Queen Sindel representation here for sure. I did like that it was true to the Mileena as a clone, a partially Tarkatan clone of Katana, because that didn't exist throughout the entire Threshold universe either, you know. So it was nice to see. And then there's of course that whole mix up about, is that Lime or is that Mileena in Battle of the Realms? Whoever wins, we lose situation.
It's definitely Lime.
It's definitely Lime. But I was glad to see this, and I was glad to see a Katana focused story also. I think she got good storylines after a while, especially at the tail end of Defenders of the Realm. I mean, she got as good of a storylines as you could get out of that cartoon.
Right.
But then, like, when we went to the Legends movies, like, she just had fuck all to do.
But doesn't this also feel like a step backwards? It's just...
Well, it feels like an origin story that could just sort of fit in front of any of these things.
I don't know.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think that it was presented pretty well. I think it was
It just didn't work for me at all. I don't know. It just happens that way sometimes.
That's fair. I do not understand the Sindel
soul binding
merging
thing.
her soul thing. So my small theory boys.
Big theory boys. Big theory boys. Rest assured, listener, this is a small theory.
Is that what they were trying to go for when Kitana and Mileena were hunting down all of King Jared's decoys, and she was like having visions of like King Jared holding a baby that was hers? That was somehow like a memory that Sindel put in her when she merged her soul, and that's how Kitana was able to like accept the truth when they actually did confront King Jared, the actual one, even though Mileena just fucking killed him. I think that that's what they were going for there. It was not clear, but it's the only thing that kind of like makes sense to me.
Right.
If we miss something, mkpodquest.com, leave us a voice message there.
Yeah, I don't want to go too much further into it for me, because I know that a lot of the notes that I wrote were just like me being kind of snippy to entertain myself, and that's not super productive, because this is by no stretch like outrageously bad or anything.
No.
I just think it's not super compelling, and it feels like it's trying to punch above its weight in a way that it doesn't succeed in doing.
Yeah.
Also, this is the Tarkatans look bad.
Yeah, they look like the Uruk-hai from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I know you haven't watched
They look
it.
like you bought an Uruk-hai fucking costume at Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, they don't look great.
They don't look great.
They look a little better than Dr. Alan Zane from Rebirth, though.
They do look a little better than Dr. Alan Zane from Rebirth.
And they look better than Annihilation as well.
Also, the fight between Katana and Molina, which itself had some cool flips in it.
It did.
Happened in a gazebo while Shao Kahn sits in like a grandpa chair that is in no way communicative of a throne at all. It's like they realized they needed to rent a local park.
It's his leisure throne.
In the woods. And they're like, oh shit, we forgot to shoot this scene. We'll figure it out. Whatever, it's fine.
I did think that fight was pretty cool, but I also did, after our last episode, pay a little bit more attention. And I'm with you on the way that these are being shot, how it's kind of a lot of quick cuts,
Right.
It jumps around a lot. Like, it doesn't feel like super fluid. Like, I think about some of those conquest
the
fights.
big flip jump kick is just like a wider shot, which is nice.
Yeah. I think there's good stuff in these fights. They're very well choreographed. They are shot like 2011 fight scenes, though.
Yeah, which is like, if we're going to say you have to get into the headspace of appreciating motion comics, unfortunately, we also have to get in the headspace of fight scenes just looking like that.
A lot of slow-mo and quick cuts. And it is no surprise to me that so many of these people have Zack Snyder connections.
Dude, okay, I'm so glad you said that, because the thing I've been trying to stop myself from saying this entire time is that this whole thing just looks like Sucker Punch.
I mean, we're living in a post-300 world.
It just looks like Sucker Punch. It all just looks like Sucker Punch.
There's a lot of Sucker Punch. The digital backgrounds and digital effects, there's a lot of Sucker Punch.
It all just looks like Sucker Punch. I'm so glad you brought up Zack Snyder. I did not want to be the guy to bring up Zack Snyder. People get really militant about Zack Snyder for some reason.
For me, it was really like, it felt like 300. The reliance on the digital environments and stuff like that really gave me 300 vibes. Which, this is not a commentary on the quality of those things. It's just a statement about how this feels very influenced by those trends at that time.
Yeah, well, Zack Snyder was a fucking big deal, man. Like, is. Like, It's not bad to be influenced by Zack Snyder.
No, and I am personally not a Zack Snyder hater. Like, I'm not.
I haven't seen enough of his movies to really have a super strong opinion.
Yeah.
except I know that the Justice League or whatever the fuck, he did that one, right? Yeah. I know that cut got all fucked up, and I didn't see his cut, but it was still too long.
It's a little long. Yeah,
I don't have the energy for Zack Snyder, but I deeply respect Zack Snyder's ability to make Zack Snyder movies.
Dude
I will
has
leave
a
it at that.
vision. Dude has a vision and a dedication that cannot be argued.
And he seems like he's probably cool to hang out with.
He does seem like he does seem like he's just like a nice guy, just like a fucking nerd who likes to make slow.
Just a jacked nerd who likes slow motion fight scenes.
I don't even think he's that jacked.
Yeah, but he's more jacked relative to other film directors, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know. He just seems normal to me. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm jacked.
Hey, everybody. Neil is thirst trapping the podcast. I will say, also the shot of just a baby with a big Tarkatan mouth is really funny. Extremely funny.
For sure. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a ton other than just some snippy notes like Q fog machine when Sindel dies.
Oh boy.
Because there was just a lot of fog all of the sudden. I think that might have been her soul.
I think that what this is if you're a big like Kitana Mileena fan, I think that this is a very good, accurate, interesting to look at adaptation of that origin story. It's kind of almost like an adaptation of the Malibu Comics Kitana and Molina one shot. Oh,
also, I would like to argue that there's no way that Jared, who is no longer king, so I will not refer to him as such, would have known that was Katana. She was an infant.
Yeah, but
you don't know what infants look like when they're adults. I'm sorry.
He did say she looks a lot like her mother. So maybe that, but yeah, you know what? I got to touch on this too. The fucking King Jared plot is bullshit.
Yeah, I don't want to CinemaSins this, but also like, what the fuck are we doing?
Oh, it's bullshit. So we catch up with him while this invasion's happening. He's just fucking sitting on his throne, and his like guards are trying to get him out. And he's like, I'm not leaving without my wife and daughter. And it's like, get off your fucking ass and go get your wife and daughter then. But they're like, no, you got to get out of here. We'll take care of it. And he's just like, okay.
Guess I am going to leave without my wife and daughter. Whatever, fucking see ya.
I'm out of here. But then he sends one of his like decoys to go get Sindel and Katana. And they think it's actually fucking him. So like when he gets killed by the Tarkatan, when the decoy gets killed by the Tarkatan in the Conquest Caves, she thinks her fucking husband just died. So then she has to learn like, oh no, he's already gone. And this was one of his decoys. He didn't even fucking come to get me himself. Like, fuck this King Jared. Fuck this guy. And he's just like sitting out there in the woods, like getting old and growing a beard and just like being like shitty.
I'm also like 80, 90-ish% sure that you can see the line on like the Santa Claus fucking ass beard that they used.
I believe it. They didn't wait around.
They did not. They were like, we have $4 left in the budget, and Jared still looks like a young man.
YouTube was not in HD at this time, so they're like,
you're right. You could fudge the numbers. It's like how old games look better on a CRT because they were made for those.
That's 100%
anti-aliasing or whatever the fuck. I'm just saying I don't think that's right, but
whatever. Yeah, but man, with this Retron 5, you can just like fucking put those scan lines in on purpose.
We live in the future.
Yeah, the King Jared thing. I was like, this guy sucks. This King Jared fucking sucks in this. Maybe he sucks in all canon. Maybe that's a canonical detail. He's just King Jared just sucks all the time. I don't know. That's all I really got to say about this. I think it's an interesting. I think it was fun, but I do think that like following up that Johnny Cage episode that did something like truly interesting and different with this, which just felt very traditional, and mystical and all of that kind of stuff. It is a bit of a jarring leap. And this was like controversial. Like this was the first thing that when it was coming out, people were kind of critical of this because they're like, well, you spent 3 episodes so far like setting up this sort of real world version of Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god, this explains so much about the next episode.
More similar to, Rebirth. And then you just do like this traditional like mystical Kitana and Mileena storyline. Like people were, not everybody, but a lot of people apparently, according to the internet, were like critical of this at the time. Like, well, this just feels like a huge change in tone from what we've been seeing so far.
Zack Snyder's. Okay, dude. Really quick before I make a joke that was just Zack Snyder's Mortal Kombat Legacy, which really isn't that funny.
Well,
You can't complain about this being too significant a shift in tone when we've already had the previous significant shift in tone.
right.
You don't get the right to do that. Sorry. Like,
Yeah.
Kevin's on some shit. You're just gonna have to roll with it. Like,
He's doing a thing, man.
yeah.
And on this next segment, boy.
He's doing the thing to such an extent he felt the need to put a disclaimer ahead of the next episode.
Should we jump into episode 6? Episode 6?
Raiden.
Raiden.
Yep.
Do you want to go over to the Fast Corey corner?
I need to
You need a minute?
I'm choosing what God I believe in because I need to pray before I talk about this. Yo, Zoroaster, what's up? You good, dude? Give me strength, bro. That's in no way meant to be mean. I don't know why I'm digging myself into this hole, whatever.
Go crack yourself a Peach Rings G Fuel with Sonic the Hedgehog on the can. You'll feel better.
Raiden falls from the sky into a big pit in the ground that he makes because he was moving so fast. And there's a bunch of lightning storm, thunder guy, I should say.
Yeah.
And he lands in the yard of what the sign on the building describes as a rehabilitation center. Seems more like he's going for the vibe of mental institution or Arkham Asylum.
Just like Sucker Punch.
Just like Sucker Punch. So Raiden falls from the sky. He's dressed in all white, and because the patients are also dressed in all white, the employees of this center, this facility, just decide he must live there, sedate him, capture him, and the episode's primary focus is how Raiden ultimately escapes the clutches of like a cynical disaster psychiatrist man in this terrible facility with all of the worst. I'm editorializing a little bit. With all of the worst trappings of that kind of story you could possibly have.
Oh yeah.
Circa 2011. The vibes are way off.
Yeah.
And Raiden gets out by getting stabbed in the heart and turning into blue puke, blood, and dust. And he apparently could have just done that at literally any point in time. I don't know why somebody else had to do it. And he just appears somewhere else on Earth, steals a guy's hat so he looks like Raiden, and then the episode ends.
Yeah, he ends up in China at the end. He gets his Mortal Kombat rebirth in China.
Well, he ends up on a street that has neon signs with lettering on it that imply that it might be China, and a man with a hat. It could have been San Francisco.
It was just a Chinatown. Is there a Chinatown in Vancouver? Because it was there. That's where he was.
Oh, 100% there is.
Yeah, he was just in Vancouver, Chinatown. Yeah.
Okay, do the Neil Nook because we gotta.
All right, let's go over to the Neil Nook real quick.
Okay.
Welcome to the Neil Nook.
Ryan Robbins plays Raiden. He is currently Frank Andrews on Riverdale.
No shit. So he's getting big paid. Shout out to my man one time.
He had some kind of a recurring role on Arrow. By the way, I think everybody who's been on the show so far has been in Arrow or The Flash or Battlestar Galactica or The 100. I'm going to stop writing those down. This guy was also Charlie Connor in Battlestar Galactica, so he crossed a couple off the list here.
So he's good.
Yeah, he's doing fine. Tracy Spiridakos plays the other inmate, the young lady. Her name is Blue. She is Haley Upton on Chicago Fire and Chicago PD and Chicago Med.
Okay.
These are all different shows.
These are all CW, probably.
This is the Chicago
Cinematic Universe. The CCU.
Peter Hall plays Dr. Gadsden. That's the shitty doctor. He was on the X-Files. He was on The Flash, some other stuff. And we have our second Danger Bay credit.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, he was on that fucking Danger Bay show.
That's maybe the most surprising thing possible. Was anybody on Electric Playground?
I've not seen any more Electric Playground alumni. We've got 3 white coats. White coat number 1 was played by Lauro David Chartrand Del Valle. White coat number 2 played by Sylvester Stewart. And white coat number 3 played by Larnell Stovall, who was the fight choreographer, I assume, for this and also for Mortal Kombat Rebirth.
Cool.
That's it for the Neil Nook. I just want to lead off here with the weirdest thing about this episode for me is the fact that they are suddenly spelling Raiden's name with an I instead of a Y.
I think the weirdest thing, one of the weirdest things is that this episode starts with a disclaimer. I'm going to read that verbatim.
Please do.
The following episode represents my different take on the Mortal Kombat universe. I think it combines the perfect amount of gritty realism mixed with a hint of mysticism. I hope you guys enjoy it, Kevin.
Did you? Did you enjoy it?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
I'm just gonna leave these long silences in.
Good, you should. What the fuck, dude? No.
Wild episode.
This is fucking crazy. The shift that this has taken is insane. Second of all, no, I fucking did not.
This feels like some like wild live journal fan fiction that some like angsty teen wrote. I don't want to talk shit about Kevin Tancharoen, but this,
Yeah, well, can I really quick? Sorry,
or Aaron or the brothers Helbing.
I try and sometimes fail on this show to at least benefit of the doubt or devil's advocate or whatever.
Sure.
All I want to do is rip this apart, and I'm not going to do that, but it's all I want to do.
It is just
This fucking sucks.
It is weird. I think, it's an interesting idea.
It's not an interesting idea. No, it isn't.
The basic idea of a god having to like come to Earth and being like captured and experimented on and that kind of shit. Like it's
not. Not here. It's not because they only have like 8 minutes. So it's like, why didn't he just fucking leave?
Yeah,
he
I don't know that
the whole time.
Well, he didn't seem to have his powers for some reason. I don't really know.
Oh, don't worry. The tasers will activate his lightning powers.
That was fucking incredible, wasn't it?
Oh my God.
Dude, that was like...
And don't
nice.
worry,
They're
it is
using
partially
tasers.
in slow motion.
On the god of thunder, they're using tasers. Fucking idiots.
Oh,
Don't they know who they're dealing with?
God, he told them who he was so many times.
It was feeling... I mean, he's in the asylum. He's like, there's a Mortal Kombat tournament is coming. You have to let me out of here. And they're like, no, you're crazy.
I'm going to drive a weird metal pick through your eye instead.
We're gonna sucker punch, give you a lobotomy, sucker punch style. We're not gonna have John Hamm do it.
Hey, did you guys ever see Sucker Punch?
You think what year did Sucker Punch? That came out after this, right? 'Cause I'm wondering
I thought
who
it came
took
out in
notes.
2009. Wait, no, 2011, same year.
Same year. They were comparing notes, dude. They must have been.
Must have been. That's the only reasonable explanation. Okay. I'm gonna try to actually like articulate a thought and not just be mean, because that's too easy. I understand why he felt compelled to put a disclaimer, because this really only goes one of two ways. Either they knew it wasn't great, or they recognized that backlash was inevitable. I think it's the latter, because it's clear that he believes in this idea, because the show takes big swings like this all the time. However, in that disclaimer, he says, I think it combines the perfect amount of gritty realism mixed with a hint of mysticism. For my money, if you want to distill into its Mortal Kombat Conquest the essence, if you want to distill down to its essence the problem with the trend of trying to turn everything into a gritty reboot, you have a perfect example here, because you've taken an interesting character in a way.
Sure.
Raiden's kind of bland, but it's like, I don't know, he's a god, he's got powers, whatever. You can do something like that. He's
a fucking herald of the Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah, and you've managed to take all of that away and replace it with a completely desaturated, lame interpretation of like the evil institutional facility, and it's just like
the cynicism of man,
like that slow-mo shot where he just like screams at the security camera, and it just like looks like a shitty music video, and it's just like, this episode distills all of the worst tendencies of the gritty realism reboot movement into like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that is how I feel about it.
This is the thing of this entire show that I feel like has aged the least well, honestly. Like, I could see, I mean, I think I was a little old, but knowing myself as a kid and how many times I watched The Crow and all of the Crow sequels, I think if I had seen this when I was like 13, I would have been like, oh my God, that is deep and dark and I love it. But
this is so edgy.
As an adult, as cynical and depressed as I am, I just watched this and I'm like, this doesn't help. This isn't good. I'm not enjoying this. This isn't cathartic or in any way.
It's not. That's the thing. It's like, and again, part of this is problem with the format. We've set that up, but it's like, you've got 10 minutes to sell me on Raiden, right?
Yeah.
This was your decision. This is how you want to choose to tell a story about this character.
Yeah, they turned him into Sarah Connor, like trying to warn people about
the previous. Go ahead.
This is Terminator 2. Raiden is Sarah Connor trying to warn everybody about Judgment Day, and they're like, nah, tase him and give him more drugs.
Give him ketamine. They name drop ketamine.
Ketamine.
So I was gonna say something. Damn it! If it comes back to me, I'll tell you. Shit. Sorry,
man.
No. It's not your fault. We're having a moment here with our good friend Raiden. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's got all the worst trappings of it as well. Where it's like, why would the evil psychiatrist man be like, I'm gonna talk directly in front of Raiden into this tape recorder about how to fuck up this guy's life and smile about it because I'm bad, and like, it doesn't delve into anything else that's going on there. It doesn't adequately contextualize it beyond like a stereotype of what that setup is, and it also doesn't have the time, and like it's just especially 10 years later, it just kind of feels astronomically lame, like overwhelmingly lame.
It others people with mental health issues. It treats.
Oh,
them,
I figured we didn't even need to mention that, but yeah, like,
I just want to say it represents them poorly, and then it also represents the system designed to help them poorly. You know, like I would not. I don't want to put that on this, but like stuff at the time, like it added to the stigmatization of all of that kind of stuff. I'm sure it definitely fed off of the stigmatization of all of that.
Yeah, it certainly feels like a product of its time in that way, where it's like, that was sort of like a butt of a joke almost, rather than like, I don't know, a functional thing, and it was assumed to be bad.
Yeah,
and it just kind of doesn't work at all,
dude. What it is it's the Korn music video for the song "Make Me Bad." That's what this. If you don't want to watch this, but want to get a sense of what this is, go watch that music video. This is a Korn music video turned into a Mortal Kombat short.
Damn, that's like the meanest thing you could say. There is a supporting character that doesn't matter at all.
No. Poor Blue.
Poor Blue.
She's doing all right, man. She's on all the Chicago shows.
Okay.
Which are probably filmed in Vancouver.
It looks really funny when he gets a dart in his head. That's a funny shot.
God.
He pukes blue stuff. But yeah, like, the thing I can't get over is oh no, that's what I was gonna say. I got there. Okay.
All right.
This episode is even worse when paired in tandem with the previous two.
Yeah.
Because that is the one. Whiplash. Those are the ones that skew the closest they could possibly skew to the source material. and are playing up the more fantastical, if not visually, than just by way of the narrative.
Right.
And then in literally the next example, you get the furthest possible thing from that, and the Kitana Mileena episodes are sandwiched between the Raiden train wreck and the really good but similarly toned Johnny Cage one that at least exists in the real world because he's a human man who has a job.
Right.
Whereas this is not an interesting way to transplant Raiden, and if you're already using the previous episode to get more into the fantastical, even by way of location and narrative only, then why are you not put Raiden in a defamiliarized position, but not one that is just the worst tendencies of like, what if people who cared about your mental health were evil actually, and like put him in some weird other fucking realm and just have him get up to some hijinks and shit, set up who he is, let him do some fucking one-liners and call it a day. I don't know. Like, it didn't have to be this way.
Yeah, it should be noted though that when he gets reborn, when he has his Mortal Kombat rebirth, he steals a hat from an old man.
Why
to
does
get
he
his classic
do that?
Raiden hat.
I know.
But that's some classic Raiden shit right there. That's the Raiden we know. That's the shitheel Raiden we've been following through the Threshold universe.
Yeah, I just feel that guy wanted to keep wearing his hat.
Yeah, and it was like fucking night. It's not like he needed like block out the sun or something. It was fucking nighttime. Like you just took that to be a dick.
Yeah.
Did you know you brought up Indiana Jones earlier? Did you know?
I did.
What is it? Is it Last Crusade where they show how a younger Indiana Jones got his fedora?
Oh man, I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, I think it's Last Crusade. You know the character he got the hat from, the other adventurer, the kind of proto indie in that scene? His credited name is Fedora.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool actually.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm thinking about these, and I'm especially thinking about these not just
the pairing
back-to-back,
is hilarious. First
but
of
the
all.
kind of it is, but the kind of entire journey we've gone on through, like I talked about it last week, you know, that we start in Earthrealm, a very grounded, relatable, like version of Earthrealm where things are familiar. It's cops, and it's, you know, they hinted this in this shitty cops, and they hit.
You didn't need to say that part. Is implied.
They hinted this like you know, advanced tech that's being stolen, and that kind of starts building the idea that there's something else going on here. And then we get to the Johnny Cage episode, and we get like the first shot of things being sort of supernatural, and to use the word that is used by Kevin Tancharoen to describe these aspects of it, mystical.
Right.
And then we go to the Kitana and Mileena episode that is extremely mystical, but it is entirely contained to another realm, right? It's the story of Edenia. We're not visiting Earthrealm at all during this.
This is the story of Edenia.
And then we go to this Raiden episode that is again firmly rooted in this sort of this grim, cynical version of our Earthrealm in circa 2011. And we've got this other mystical element, like very obviously getting like thrown into this with Raiden. I do think like the intent of all of this is to be like, no, the mystical stuff is out there. We just haven't been in touch with it. But now that Earthrealm is on Outworld's radar, all of this mystical stuff is going to start bleeding into our reality. I think that there's a pacing problem with introducing that stuff.
Yes.
In a believable way.
Yes.
But I do think at the end of the day, the idea of like, well, no, the I think it still works. I think it's still, the concept works. And that concept is Mortal Kombat, right? Like that's the idea. Like you play Mortal Kombat games, and the way Earthrealm like fights against Outworld and Netherrealm and all of these other invaders is by using tech, right? So, like all the special forces people are like tech based. And then all of the Outworld people and, you know, from wherever else are like magic based.
It's the butting heads between like technology and like not spirituality. That's no mysticism. Let's just go with the word that we've been using.
Yeah, we'll go with mysticism in the context that Kevin Tancharoen intended. So they're doing that, and I like that. I like that aspect of it, but there is a definite pacing issue so far with this season, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think it's also it's again, I can only blame it so much, but part of the it's a victim of its format. This is not the right format for this.
Yeah. needed a little bit more breathing room. Part of me does think that if Kevin had gotten to make the movie that he wanted to make, if it had been closer to this versus Rebirth, but it had the time to tell the story, I think that would have been really interesting. Because not to like fucking talk about Mortal Kombat 2021 again, but the thing that movie did that might have pissed me off the most is completely remove the idea of Earthrealm using technology to fight back and just make all of that shit magic, right? Just make all of it. The whole Arcana bullshit, Kano's eye being Arcana, Jax's like...
Right, it does skew the other direction. You're totally right.
Yeah. I miss that aspect of like us trying to figure out how we in our own reality can combat this stuff that is so outside of our ability to comprehend and perform. I think that there's something interesting about Mortal Kombat there that is getting lost in a lot of these adaptations. And at least Legacy is giving it a shot, you know? But you're right. The format's wrong. They're not given the room to really explore that kind of stuff. I'm sure there were dictations from like Warner Brothers of like, well, you need to keep some of the traditional Mortal Kombat shit in this. And I think that maybe Kevin wasn't super interested in doing that, which is maybe why he didn't come up with a clever idea to present the Kitana and Mileena story, and why he just went with the traditional Edenian history storyline and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get the impression that his interests lie on the Earth side of this Mortal Kombat equation.
Yeah, I think so.
And like for my money, that's like the lamest place they could. And there's nothing I could do. Like, you know,
the interest for me really is the clashing of the two of all of these different.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
That's what makes it fun.
I don't want to say he. That's not fair. This show doesn't seem interested in the clashing.
Right. At least not yet.
Just because I think this Raiden episode is a bad example of that.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, it is. This did not work for me. This is the opposite of the Johnny Cage episode, where the Johnny Cage episode, I think...
It's like the inverse.
It is, yeah. The Johnny Cage episode presented the character in a new and interesting way that felt relevant to the time. And then this is presenting the character in a new and well, I guess you could... It is interesting. That's not a compliment. Way that also... represents the time it was made, but not well, right? I stumbled over that, but you get my point.
No, I think people get what we're saying.
Yeah. There's a good way and a bad way to do this, and we've had one example of a good way and one example of a bad way, and this is the bad way.
This is, and again, like I don't want to also come across like I'm saying that you can't be critical of things, because I think a lot of people like get weirdly defensive about anybody ever being negative about anything on the internet. So I want to be clear that I'm being negative without trying to be an asshole, but like this is really bad.
Yeah.
Like they did not nail it.
They didn't nail it.
I feel like there is a fundamental misunderstanding of what is interesting about this going on here.
I'm going to give them credit for fucking swinging for the fences though.
Can't fault that. Fair enough.
I think the idea, and we've talked about this before, the idea of trying to find new ways to tell these familiar stories is a good idea, and it's kind of what we need, what the franchise needs, I think. We don't want everything to just be a repeat of what we've already seen, but now we've seen literally a repeat of what we've already seen in the Kitana and Mileena episode.
Yeah.
And then this wild fucking, things are just off balance, I think.
Yeah. I'm curious to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, well,
if nothing else.
Next episode, we're going to talk Scorpion and Sub-Zero Parts 1 and 2, and the Season 1 finale, Cyrax and Sector.
I'm really curious to see what this show ends up doing with Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Yeah.
I'm kind of terrified, but...
I remember, I don't want to tip my hand or anything. Like, first of all, we all know that I love the opening to Scorpion's Revenge. But I do remember this being... in my opinion, a better version of what we got at the beginning of Mortal Kombat 2021.
Okay, sure.
Now, it's been a while since I've watched it, so I don't want to be like, don't hold me to that. But I do remember at the time thinking like, man, Legacy kind of did it better. And then I remember the Cyrax and Sector finale being extremely good for a very specific reason that I cannot wait to talk about.
Okay, fair enough.
But for now, man, I don't know. I think we're done.
I agree. Yeah. If life is about peaks and valleys, this is a valley.
You're in a valley right now.
I am.
I think that the Kitana Mileena thing is the Kitana Mileena episodes are worth checking out if you're obviously if you're listening to this, you're a Mortal Kombat fan, and if you haven't seen those,
If you're into motion comics,
it's a very cool, I think it's a cool, interestingly presented story. I understand all of your reasons to not be crazy about it. I still think it was good in a vacuum. Personally, I think when we start relating it to the other things in Legacy, it loses a little bit of its shine and gets a little weird. But just like as a thing on its own, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah, I think if the teaser for this kind of Mortal Kombat thing that got put up first, like Rebirth style, was the Kitana Mileena thing, people would have been really excited.
Yeah, that would have been very cool.
Like if you just made that like one video and just put it out like Rebirth was, I think people would have fucking absolutely lost it. So like,
totally.
I can see the value in that, but and if you put out the Raiden one, they would have shut the internet down permanently.
The Raiden one, interestingly, feels the most like Mortal Kombat Rebirth to me.
Probably why I don't like it as much.
Yeah.
But no, it totally does. Yeah.
Sorry, one last little bit on the IMDb trivia for the Raiden episode. They compare it to the first Thor movie.
Huh? Just because it's a guy with lightning powers?
I hate IMDb's layout, dude.
IMDb's layout sucks, and it somehow keeps getting worse. Like,
it's like they don't want you to use it. They want you to use their shitty app, and the app sucks even more.
Yeah, IMDb would be easier to navigate if it was a single physical building we all had to drive to, like the Library of Alexandria.
All right, so the IMDb trivia for Mortal Kombat Legacy says Raiden's arrival on Earth, mirrors the happenings of Thor's arrival.
Mirrors
to
the
Earth
M. Night Shyamalan film The Happening.
in the film, Thor 2011. In both instances, the God of Thunder arrives to Earth seemingly powerless and no one believing his claims. He ends up being taken to a medical facility and kept drugged until he makes his escape.
What year did Thor come out?
2011, same year.
Big year. Sucker Punch, Thor, Mortal Kombat Legacy. The big three.
Oh, I think I know what we got to do, Corey. Let's get out of here and go triple feature Terminator 2, Thor, and Sucker Punch. What do you think?
Sure, I didn't need to feel like life had value today.
It's going to be a hell of a night, dude. What do you have to plug?
I do another podcast. It's called They Made Another One. That's true. I'm trying to think. I was trying to remember what movie was coming up next, but I don't actually remember. So if you want to find out what we're doing next on that show, because our last episode was actually an episode of this show for complicated reasons, you can go over to They Made Another on Twitter, or They Made Another One on all your podcast services, and check out me, my friends Liam and Mitch, and sometimes Neil and other people talking about sequels and reboots and remakes and all that stuff. And yeah, so you can do that. This is a real seamless plug, Neil. And you can also follow me on
good.
Twitter at Mr. Corey Price. I crushed that. Damn.
They expect it of us now.
They expect us to whiff the one thing we do every week the exact same way.
Yes. Let's see how I do. Hold on. You can find me on Twitter at Final Neil. Follow my retro gaming Instagram account at Final Neil Retro. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at MK Podquest. Rate us and review us. Give us 5 stars over on the Apple Podcast or wherever you can review podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We still aren't at 100 subscribers yet, and I'm getting mad about it. You can find links to all of these things at our website, mkpodquest.com.
You can do a lot on mkpodquest.com.
You can buy a shirt.
You can buy a hat.
Danny bought a hat. The hat looks good.
Paul bought a shirt. Shirt looks good.
Paul bought shirts. I got a shirt. People have bought stuff. Go rep some MK Podquest gear.
If you feel like wasting your money.
Oh, hold on. So here's what we're gonna do. We've got a Christmas goal,
Right.
of buying 2 copies of Fast and Furious Spy Racers: Rise of Shifter, and racing each other on live stream. Corey, can you spell Shifter for me real quick?
I sure can. It is SH1FT3R.
And of course, that game is all about
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin, Dom.
And Dom Toretto's legendary cousin Tony by way of the transitive property.
If you want to support the show, go to ko-fi.com/mkpodquest. That is our current goal. But what I think I'm going to do is anybody who buys merch We're gonna add that money to the total.
I
so
did
you can
assume that was
actually-
already happening, so it's hilarious that you're choosing to mention this.
So you go buy a t-shirt. You go get yourself a t-shirt. We'll count that towards the bonus episode. Fuck it.
And we may well in the stream, and we may well do that anyway. But we'll never tell.
Yeah. Go to mkpodquest.com. You can click on the shop tab there to find a link to our Redbubble store. ko-fi.com/mkpodquest if you want to support us there.
You can leave us a
Thank you.
voicemail. You can leave us all kinds of shit.
Yes, you can leave us voice messages if you are a big defender. If you love the Raiden episode, we want to hear from you. We want to represent all perspectives in these
Even the wrong ones.
contexts.
Mortal Kombat context.
Yes, in Mortal Kombat context, we want to represent all.
I've definitely
all-
said that 3 or 4 times in the last year and a half.
Yes, but that's when we're really interested in representing all perspectives. So, what a mess.
All right.
Let's get the fuck out of here, dude.
Breaking news: League of Legends Worlds 2022 semifinals in Toronto, baby. Let's go watch some esports.
Oh hell yeah! I got my G Fuel already cracked and
Let's
ready to
go.
go. Let's fucking do it, dude.